Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming on down the way of wrestling. I'm your host, Vasel Glass, and I'm out here looking at this Wrestlemania 30 pay-per-view. We're going to do a quick, just a blow-by-blow description of what we're doing here. This is going to be a different channel than the ones you probably see around the internet of me. This is going to be more so channeling the wrestling love. If you know anything about me, I am a huge fan of wrestling, and this is my chance to really kind of get things out the way that I want to. And before I get any closer to starting, let's look down below and see that beautiful subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that before we get started, so that way you can always come back here for your wrestling information and your wrestling needs. Okay, now to get into our predictions, we are looking into WrestleMania 30. This is the biggest thing that happens every year. We all know about the WrestleManias, how they come about and where they were established. I'm not going to get into all that, but what we're going to do is we're going to look at our card real quick. We're looking at the first match that I think that should be the pre-match. That would be the WWE Tag Team titles of a fatal throwaway between the Usos, the Real Americans, versus Ryback and the Los Matadores. Now, this is going to be a okay match. I don't expect for this to be a blow you out the water match simply because Ryback is involved. It's going to be fast paced, everybody except for Ryback. And although I do like the Real Americans, I exceptionally hate Ryback. So if everything that the Real Americans is, even with Zeb is going to be there, you're going to see great things being done by Cesaro. But I think the weakness of this match is going to come from Ryback. So I really don't know why they keep trying to push them, other than the fact that one is Kurt Hennig's son and one is a Goldberg wannabe. So that being said, I don't see them being a winner. If they walk away with it, I'll be very shocked. The next match on the card that I believe should go in order, should be the first match out the gate, should be John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Now, this is not going to be a title match, as we know, so this is going to be pushed as if it were a title match. Now, what do I think about this? We're looking at John Cena. You know, everybody has their feelings about him. Me personally, I don't hate the guy. I just think he has been doing the same gimmick for the past almost 20 years. So to me, it's just time for a big change in his gimmick. I mean, I guess in this case, you won't see Hogan change. You won't see Rod change. You won't see Stone Cold change their gimmicks. So I don't really see John Cena really changing his gimmick, but I would like to see him take it in a different direction, try new things with it, find out other ways that he can do his promotion of his character, because honestly the hustle, loyalty, respect thing has gotten and grown very tired. Other than that, we're looking at Bray Wyatt, who is going to be a stellar thing. Well, if you haven't been watching Bray Wyatt, I don't know why, if not, you're impressed by this guy. This guy is amazing. I mean, everything that you want in a wrestler. He's not really a solid beat you down guy, but he will beat you into the ground. You hear me? I mean, he will really beat you up. I mean, he goes to the string legs. He reminds me of a cross between Raven and and Mick Foley all in one. He just willing to do whatever it takes to take you down. You know, he's aggressive. He's angry. He's at you. He has a religious agenda. You know, and at the same time, a very political agenda. You know, the follow the buzzer thing. I love that, man. You know how they're making this guy into a false prophet, and yet he's calling everybody else the false prophet. It's a pretty interesting character. But if I had to give my predictions, I'm going to say Super Cena is going to win just because he has to keep his legacy going and all of these things, and he's never going to change. He's always going to be the same. John Cena, you know his thing. The next thing on the card would probably be Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. Now, this is a very important match because later on in the show you're going to see a triple threat match. Now I'll get to that in a second, but Triple H versus Bryan and the Yes Movement. You know, this is what Triple H said that he wants to get rid of. You know, he wants to go against the Yes Movement and anything that is popular. Which is an interesting thing because, you know, it's kind of hypocritical for Triple H to even have this conversation, seeing as he was, you know, the second half of DX, you know, at one point the leader of Generation X, you know, all of the cool stuff that you can remember, even Evolution, or even the what was the other one that he was in? Yeah, well, I think that was it. It was Evolution, and then he had the corporate and the corporate ministry and all of that cool stuff. He was the fashion king. He was a stable king. You know, he was the king at getting people to hate him, but at the same time rally behind him. Okay, he's been the good guy. He's been the bad guy. But I personally am very glad to see Triple H back as a heel. That's right. I love Triple H as a heel. I think that is the thing that makes him stand out. I think that's what makes him important. And one of the things that makes you like it and it makes you invest into his character is the fact that he's a bad guy. No one knows how to give a heel promo like Triple H. Nobody knows how to throw it back like Triple H. Everybody knows that when the dust settles and all the people stand clear, it is going to be Triple H that usually stands at the end of his matches. And another thing I like about Triple H is he always gives a solid match. Whether you like his fighting style or not, he's very tactical in the ring. He does pick apart his guy. He will put you over by, you know, putting you over. I mean, he will let you beat him down and what have you, but he still at the end of the match has given you everything, and that's something that I always respected about him. Daniel Bryan, what can I say about the guy? In my opinion, he's not Chris Benoit, but he is something similar to him. He is not a guy who's really great on the mic. He's not one of those guys that talks a lot of big game, but he works hard, you know, and that work ethic is something that I think that I like about him. And not only that, but he also has that never say die mentality, just like Triple H. You know, he also has that star power like a Rock or even a Stone Cold. You know, he has that edge like Chris Benoit had, because let's face it, he does a lot of the same stuff. I mean, he beats you down. He's aggressive and he's angry in the ring. He doesn't care whether you like it or not. He knows all the submission holds. He's a BA, you know. He's the big guy in the ring and such a little stature, just like Chris Benoit, you know, just like Kurt Angle, just like Chris Jericho. You know, the list goes on and on of little guys who were, you know, way bigger than what their stature put out. And I think if Triple H takes him lightly, whether this be a fake match or a gimmick match, whatever you want to call it, if he takes him lightly, Daniel Bryan will walk away with the chance to go to the triple threat. But I personally think in my mind that I would like to see the game go for the gold one more time. That's just me. I'm a Triple H fan. Now, As for the Divas tournament, nobody cares about that. You don't care who gets the belt. I mean, it can be any of them. They'll give it back to AJ on Monday. It doesn't matter. Let's see. 6-man tag match. The Shield, Kane, and the Outlaws, the New Age Outlaws, also known as the Corporate Outlaws, whatever you want to call them. They are going to have a match. Personally, I want Kane to go back to what Kane does best. He doesn't have to put the mask on so much as he has to start beating up people. That's what I want from Kane. I want to see him demolish some folk. I want to see him beat somebody down. I want to see him stomp somebody in the ground. I want to see the big red monster be the monster that he is and stop being this weakling and this little sissy about how he does things. Unfortunately, we are stuck with what we see right now, and he's in this character, which is okay because he has a political science degree. He's a smart guy, and I could see him as something like a COO or some type of businessman on that side of the fence. But I really would like to see Corporate Kane go back to the big red machine or the big red monster gimmick, because I think that's where he excels the most. He doesn't have to so much drop his intellect in order to be that way, because he never did. I mean, think about what Kane used to be. He used to be a horrible guy, man. I mean, he used to destroy people in the ring. He used to be a devil about it, man. You know, he used to torment people. Can we all remember Shane McMahon and the electrified testicle? I mean, come on, man. I mean, we don't know exactly what he did to Rey Mysterio in that little room. I mean, this is the stuff that we remember about Kane. Let's not get on Katie Vick, okay? All of these things all play a part of it, and I think that they need to get him back to what he knows how to do, which is torment people. Now, the next thing would be also the New Age Outlaws. I am so sideways about them. I mean, I really don't know how to handle them. I mean, they're not horrible, but I mean, they put the belts on them only to get them taken off of them, and then when they did it, it really didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't do anything for the belts. It didn't do anything for them, but just show that they still got it. But I really didn't care. It's good that they match him up with Kane, because I don't think that there's anyone else that should be involved. Now the Shield. Them boys is some bad boys, man. Seth Rollins, that high flyer, to me, no disrespect to him, but the boy is bad. I love me some Seth Rollins, man. That boy is gonna do a lot of great things, man. He is fast. He is off the hook. He ain't afraid to go out there and do something reckless. He's exactly what the Shield needs. Another thing is, of course, Superman himself. And I mean, look at the guy. I mean, he's a mammoth. He's a destroyer. I mean, he's young and restless at the same time. How can you get any better than that? I think my boy Dean Ambrose is going to be good too. So I think that the Shield has a good chance of winning this match, strictly because they've been trying to turn them face, and to move them along the chain and to get them more united as the Shield, as a 3-man set that is a good set. Which I don't think that they should so much be faced as anti-heroes, where, you know, they can do no wrong, and I think that's what they should be billed as. I really don't think they should be so much the good guys. They should be like the APA. APA really wasn't the good guys. I mean, they just were heroes for hire, basically, and I think that's what the Shield should be at this point. Let's see. Another big match that they're going to be having, I don't think this is going to be so much in order at this point, is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Yeah. Now, I think for what it is, being it's WrestleMania and it's the 30th WrestleMania, that's very huge. So to me, this is going to need to have exactly that. I think of course, you're not going to see Mark Henry or the Big Show win. That's just not good for business. It's not good for the other competitors in the ring. If I were them, I would just come together and just knock them out easy. That brings us to who I think should win this. And I don't know what is the stipulations for winning other than the trophy. I'm guessing in this case, I would have to say I would like to see Big E win it. Because, I mean, he's a big guy. He's fast. He's agile. He's good on the mic. He has a great personality. He's good with the kids. He's like a superhero. He's better to me than John Cena. That's just my opinion. And I would like to see Big E becoming a big part of the championship game as we go forward in the WWE and seeing him do more things. I hope he doesn't just get stuck at mid-card level. I hope as the time goes on, he starts to really show himself. Kind of like he kind of reminds me of Mark Henry back in the day. Kind of like also like a cross between Ahmed Johnson and what was my dude, D'Lo Brown. He kind of reminds me of those two together. And just to say this, and I don't mean to go backwards, but I think I need to say this. Whenever you look at wrestling as a whole, you need to look at not just storyline. You need to look at the character that's being developed right in front of you. And one of the characters that I think is really being well developed is the Daniel Bryan. And I didn't get to say that before. I really think they're doing a good job developing it. And I will hope that they don't get too far ahead of themselves with insulting the crowd. See, what it could end up happening is, you know what, I'll take that back. I would say it's a 50-50 chance that this could work. Okay, because either they're going to go the route of the Dudley Boys, where the Dudley Boys used to say all the bad things to the crowd, talk at the crowd, yell at the crowd, scream at the crowd, cuss at the crowd. Oh, the Dudley Boys was horrible back in the 90s. Back when, they was in the ECW days, those darn Dudleys, the way that Big Dudley, the big Dudleys, and Bubba Ray Devine, all of that. That version of the Dudley Boys with Spike Dudley was a little bit more aggressive. So it looks like the Triple H and Stephanie, the Authority, is trying to take that same approach. But what I have a fear of, honestly, is that they're going to take this approach, and in the midst of taking this approach, they're going to end up really ruining their credibility with the crowd. Now, I understand you're developing a heel character based upon a authoritative figure, which is pretty cool, and it still builds for the characters, and the kids still love them. But I think, especially with younger crowds who don't really understand, and maybe some of the younger gentlemen who don't remember Stephanie McMahon from back in the day when she wasn't so corporate looking, and she was wearing the little t-shirts and the little shorts, and she was going against Lita and Trish Stratus of the world. It's different. It's a different time, and I hope it doesn't. Hope they don't, by doing this mistakenly and unpurposely, actually destroy the brand that they're actually creating. And that's just my thing. Tech on that, and I'm back on the card. We just got done with who I think should win, which was Big E. Now, the next big match, which we all will probably be waiting for, would be the World Heavyweight Championship match between Randy Orton, Batista, Triple H, and who I think should be in the match. But I know it's going to be Daniel Bryan, because it's pretty much what the fans want Daniel Bryan, but let's face it, Triple H would not be bad in it either. Just in case, let's just do one for each. If Triple H should win the WWE to go to the triple threat match, I say he should go ahead and be champion. Okay, whoever wins the triple Bret is the champion. The end. Batista was supposed to come in and be champion, but let's face it, Batista, honestly, right now in this moment is the mid-card guy in the ring. Okay, nobody cared that he came back. I like how Triple H said in his workout video, someone living on the past glories, making money off of his past glories. That's exactly what Batista's doing. I mean, really, no one really cares that he's not there. I think if he was to go away right now, I don't think many people would care. I don't think people would give as much, feeling to it, and nor would they be that involved with the character. I think that most people are not invested in the Batista at this point. I think he's done a lot of whining off camera, off the WWE, and I think that when he came back, he may have believed that when he came back, he was going to be on top, the best guy in the ring, and everybody was going to praise him just like they did The Rock, and just like they're going to do Hulk Hogan, and just like they did Stone Cold. Anytime those guys come back, I guess he was waiting for the fans to give him the "you still got a chance" and the high level of praise. And when they got down to it, that no one cared. No one cared that he was there. I personally didn't care. I watched the Raw when he came back, and I watched the SmackDown when he ripped his pants. I watched both. I watched all of it. I just didn't care. And I think with the current situation where WWE is, we're losing CM Punk and losing, all of these talent. I think that they need to focus mainly on these guys that they have and stop putting all their energy into people who just want to, like Triple H said, live off their past glories. Which brings me to my point again. Here we are, Triple H, Randy Orton. Let's face it, no one cares about him as champion. Okay, he's not washed up, but I think they need to redo his character. I think it's time, just like with John Cena, for a refresh. I think they need to redo the character, re-image the character, and see how that they can turn the Viper into a different character, because people don't care about the Viper. People don't care about the Legend Killer. I think they need to go back to that, honestly. Go back to the fact that he killed so many legends, that he beat the Undertaker before, and he beat Edge, and he beat and all these people that ain't around no more. He beat all of those people in one way, shape, form, or fashion, and he got into brawls with Shawn Michaels and won. Just to say it, the Jeff Hardys, he's beat them. You gotta pull that out. Now, since we've come to the conclusion that whoever wins the triple threat has already won, let's go ahead and talk about our main event, the most important match that everybody wants to see, because I know 3 years ago when they were talking on TV, and then when I first saw the Undertaker at the UFC fight, and he said to Brock, "You want to go?" And Brock looked him in the face. That was the best promo that has ever been done in WWE history, and that is just my opinion. Okay, so when I saw Brock Lesnar come back and sign a deal with the WWE, I knew right then we were about to see the match that we have been asking for a long time at a WrestleMania, and that is Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. Yes, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. Now, this is a great match for a lot of reasons. Number one, what is the big thing that you always hear when you hear The Undertaker? You hear the best pure striker in the history of sports entertainment. You hear the dead man, the Reaper of Souls. You hear him, call himself all of these different names, but you have always seen him with the MMA gloves on and all of the different references to mixed martial arts. He's always talked about how he dabbled into it and that he would have been very good at it if he would have stayed in it. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but for all intents and purposes, no one with the Undertaker's current status can say that they have 29 wins via WrestleMania. Now, Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, he's got the greatest credentials out there. He's been NCAA champion in wrestling. He's an All-American champion in wrestling. He's he's won the UFC championship, youngest WWF champion. All of these accolades. He's a beast. He is, as Paul Heyman so elegantly and so beautifully perked, he's a beast incarnate. And I agree with that. That is the best and the most apt description of a man that I've seen since Jesus is Lord. Okay, that is just the truth. Okay, the man is the beast. Okay, he is ridiculous. Okay, and yeah, he didn't do too well all the time in UFC, but let's face it, he wasn't a chump either. He wasn't so easily beaten. So looking at that and looking at how the two have a good fight, it would be nice if Brock Lesnar defeated the Streak. However, seeing as we know that Sting is going to be signing with the WWE for at least 1 to 2 matches, it's safe to assume that more than likely the Streak is going to go to WrestleMania 31. Because let's face it, who wants to see Brock win when you know you've been waiting for Sting versus The Undertaker all of your life? That's all I gotta say about that. That's all you need to say, really. So we know who's gonna win the match, but the question is, are they gonna allow Brock Lesnar to beat the living snot out The Undertaker? I mean, they should let Brock beat them. This should be a fight. This should be a brutal match. I want to see everything up to blood. I mean, I want to see them go at it. I want them to leave it all in the ring. Triple H versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels was a really good match, but this should be a very ugly match. I wanted them to go all out. Okay, I want an old school, almost funk type match. Okay, I wanted it to be stinking nasty match. I mean, I want almost Tyson Holyfield biting off the ear match. Okay, I mean, just that nasty of a match. I mean, I want to see somebody almost get their eyes gouged. I want to see pre-FCC UFC type match. And I want to see that type of match, okay, where you had to be bleeding halfway to death before somebody ring the bell, okay? That's the type of match I want to see, okay? I want to see Jet Li in a hero type match. I want it to be that epic, okay? So, looking at it, once again, we do know that Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar should and must honestly go along with the Streak. However, if it was no Sting next year, which is pretty much what everybody believes it should be, then I would say honestly it would be Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. I would say Brock beats the Streak. But seeing as we all have a feeling that Sting is going to either show up at this WrestleMania or next WrestleMania or Monday night, safe to assume, yeah, we know who wins that match. So that is my WrestleMania prediction. Oh, one more thing. Hulk Hogan, I think he's going to do well as the host. I think he's going to go against somebody like Miz or somebody, maybe drop a leg on him or something, do something all Hulkamaniac wise, give out some t-shirts, do some poses, and he should be fine. Now, as for Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said in a quote on WrestleZone.com. You can go and look at it for yourself on the website. I will leave it down in the comments in the description below. He said that he believes in a podcast. He said he believes that CM Punk will return at WrestleMania 30. He wants him to return at WrestleMania 30, and of course you heard also via WrestleZone that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be appearing as the Rattlesnake in the WrestleMania. So we don't know what place he has in the ceremonies and everything, but I do see him having a big role. And there must be something huge when they bring out the Rattlesnake. Now, I do believe, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back. Now, this is my thing, and you tell me what you think. Excuse me. And this is just me speculating. This is no truth to it at all. If CM Punk, I put it like this. Back in about 1999-ish, I remember a time when Stone Cold was tired of the company, and he didn't like the way things were going, and Rock was getting a lot of attention, and Rock was getting a lot of big matches, and it came to a point where that Stone Cold got angry and he went home. And I remember The Rock coming out and addressing him. And, I remember, if you don't want, you remember the promo, if you don't want to be here, take your ball, go home, get the F out. You remember that. And how he was staying with the WWF. Well, you blast forward to now and you see there's kind of a parallel between Stone Cold and CM Punk. And there always has been. So the best person, in my opinion, to call out Punk and to make Punk want to come back home when play Prodigal Son would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, I really don't see the need for Punk to return at this point. If I'm him and I've already made most of my money and I've done all that I wanted to do, and and Punk has never been really a fan-oriented wrestler, so if I look at it like that, well, then I believe it's safe to assume that he more than likely will not be returning. That's just what I think. However, I would love to see CM Punk return at WrestleMania 30 and maybe do a plug just for WrestleMania 31, because let's face it, Stone Cold versus Punk at WrestleMania 31, you don't think that would be a big match? That would be a huge match. And if Stone Cold does kind of like a small run to just refresh himself, to get back in the ring, get back in ring shape, I would love to see one more match, CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, which, by the way, Stone Cold said he himself would love to go against them too. And seeing as you talking, Kurt Angle wanted to come back and try one more small run. Now, I think also it would be in his best interest to have Punk there as well. The more competition, the better you'll get out of these guys, and the more they'll put those guys over. And that's just my wrap up. Now, once again, my name is Vassell. Thank you for coming out to the Way of Wrestling. And if you can, once again, leave your comments and tell me what you think about how you like things, what I can do to make things better, and how I can become a little bit better at my product. Another thing, just also leave me a comment, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and thank you for coming out. God bless, and you have a great day. I did out.